Hey everybody, Derek here. I'm here to bring another video for Z Nation. As the season has concluded, I'm going to be doing several videos for the next few weeks, basically doing some of my thoughts on Season 1, some of the best plot points, as well as some predictions for next season. I think we got a lot of great things to look forward to, and I'm really excited. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank the episodes of Season 1 from 1 being the best to 13 being the worst. So I'm going to give my thoughts and my opinion on that. I'm going to try to make this short because I know that it can, get very in depth. So I'm going to try to be as succinct as I possibly can. But if you guys have any other video topics that you would like to suggest for the coming weeks about Z Nation, don't be afraid to post a comment or send me a message. I definitely would love to have some ideas for Z Nation. It's a great show, and I think they did a great job with the first season. So just in case you're not caught up, this video will contain spoilers, as I will be doing some plot points. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch the video. Okay. Number 13 for me is Tsunami. If you guys have been following along, this should be no surprise to you. I felt that it was very, bad, end of discussion. I really just don't think that they really did a great job with the plot. It was more about people just sitting around. Murphy had a great moment, other than that, there really wasn't anything good. And I was just very disappointed with what they did with Citizen Z in that episode. I just felt it was unnecessary, total waste of time. They could have done something a lot better with that episode. It was just a waste of space, honestly. So that's why it's number 13. It probably always will be, on any list. I don't think they can do much worse than it. Number 12 is going to be Fracking Zombies. And again, I say that the first 12 on the list aren't necessarily bad episodes. Tsunami's the only one that I would say is absolutely terrible. But when you compare Fracking Zombies to the other episodes, there wasn't a lot of plot development. I mean, it kind of introduced a segue into the cannibals, which was interesting, but the dialogue just really wasn't good. This was really when they were trying to establish the characters, and just I really felt like it was unnecessary. It really got nothing done. And I think that they could have had better plot points there and better development for more of the characters. So that's why it's number 12. Number 11 is Die Zombie Die Again. And again, this is not a bad episode. I really did enjoy the plot. I really think it was nice to see the developments between Mac and Addie. It was a nice episode to center on them. But the dreams just got too repetitive for me. I liked it, but I think that it's one of those episodes I could watch once or twice and then never want to watch again, because there's just so much repetition that it really was unnecessary, and it got annoying after a while because you could tell that he was dreaming, and it was just annoying. I think that they could have done better things with the episode. Like, they could have done the first half of it being, Mac and Addie exploring their relationship a little bit, and maybe something happening to them that could have triggered the dreams. But I just think that there was too much repetition at the throughout the episode, and they could have done something better with it. So that's why it's number 11. Number 10 is going to be Full Metal Zombie. Again, not a bad episode. The soldiers definitely were very interesting. It was intense in many respects. Having Doc down in the vent, that was pretty humorous. I mean, they did have a lot of great moments in this episode, but I just think that the soldiers themselves were not as effective as characters as some of the other stops, like the sisters, the people we met in Going Nuclear, the church, things like that. They just weren't as interesting as, say, them or the cannibals even. So that's why it's number 10. Number 9 is Murphy's Law, and again, it really was great to see a lot of plot developments for Murphy. I mean, I really enjoyed, finding out he does have telekinetic powers, and the whole season has really been about Murphy becoming more stronger and identifying just what he's capable of doing. But I think that the overall plot was just very disappointing. I mean, it's about a group of people trying to go get drugs, and I just, it was interesting and it was nice to explore, but part of me wishes that they, like, looking back on it and seeing Doctor of the Dead, I kind of wish they would have had a kind of segue into the episode. I just felt like it wasn't as effective as some of the other episodes were, using their time wisely and exploring different kinds of groups. They could have made this group a little bit more interesting too, and I think that does matter in the context of the entire series. Number 8 for me is Home Sweet Zombie. I think it was a great episode. It was definitely nice to see a lot of Warren's backstory, finding out about her husband, seeing her and Garnett kind of start to show those signs that they are romantically connected to one another. And I think that it was very good in many respects. I just think that when you compare them to some of the other episodes, they could have had like a more involvement with some of the characters, and just overall, it was a little bit lacking in regards to being able to connect with various different characters. The characters that they did introduce in that episode weren't as interesting. And while it is a great episode, I just think that the other episodes did things that put them above this one. But it's not a bad episode in any way, shape, or form. Number 7 for me is going to be the series premiere, Puppies and Kittens. I think it was a very nice introduction in many ways. I liked the communications between Hammond and Garnett, and just seeing how everybody came together. I thought they did a very, very good job with that, and I think that the even though the zombie baby still kind of was not the best move, I think that it definitely, this episode set the tone for just how Z Nation was going to be. I mean, the moment that they killed off Hammond at the end really made me, it really made me realize that this series is going to be something different from Walking Dead, and something different from a lot of other shows. Not a lot of shows kill their main character off until the end, or if something were to happen, kind of like Charlie Sheen in 2.5 Men. But other than that, you really don't see things like that happening, and I really think that it set a tone that really made it a lot interesting, and definitely made us interested as viewers as to what this show was going to be. Number 6 for me is Welcome to the FU Bar. This was the episode right after Resurrection Z, after Garnett's death, and something, they really did a great job. Not just, having Warren, have her revelation and start to, accept her leadership position, but I think that the other thing this episode really did was it kind of brought out that lighter side of the zombie apocalypse. I mean, there were a lot of laughs in this episode, a lot of very interesting connections with the characters. And I just liked how, after going through such a dramatic episode, that we kind of took a step back and kind of made a lighter episode. And it really did work. I really think they did a great job with this episode and with what they did. So, and I also like, the connection between 10,000, and I think the girl's name was Becky or something like that. Don't quote me on it. But it was nice seeing those kind of connections. And it was just an all-around fun episode that I really think stands out and really did a great job after the devastating Resurrection Z. So I have to give it credit for that. Number 5 is going to be Going Nuclear. I think this episode really had you on the edge of your seat the entire time, and I think that that was something that really puts it within the top 5. I also think that the characters that they introduced, even though they killed them off in the episode, were very interesting. It was actually almost like, introducing characters that were complex and actually did, they were likable. They really were. And I think that they really did a great job of showing like 10,000 with the older guy kind of having a father-son relationship, and then the whole thing with Murphy definitely was very interesting. And it just was an overall great action-packed episode that I had to put in the top 5. They really did a lot of great things, great characters. I really enjoyed it. Number 4 is going to be Philly Feast. Absolutely amazing episode. The cannibals are definitely characters that you will always remember, and they really did a great job of, putting the drama on, really making things suspenseful, exploring Cassandra a little bit, and just the ending is just absolutely amazing. They really did a great job of, infiltrating the group and basically being able to take Cassandra and Doc out of there. Absolute great episode. Really kept you on the edge of your seat the entire time. And just the cannibals are just a lot more memorable than a lot of the other groups were. So I definitely have to give it credit for that. Number 3 is going to be Resurrection Z. And again, this is another great episode. I mean, the church group was just absolutely insane. And again, you kind of knew something was going to happen going into this episode. And I think they really did a great job leading up to it. I mean, a lot of developments for Murphy and who he was, and just seeing the way that everything went down, and unfortunately we did lose Garnett in this episode, but I think they did a great job building up to it. They definitely put on a lot of action, a lot of drama, and I really enjoyed those scenes between Warren and Garnett. And just the entire episode is just one action-packed, excellent episode. You cannot deny that. So I am going to go with number 3, Resurrection Z. Number 2 for me is Sisters of Mercy. Again, just really, really great story writing. I won't lie. Part of me does wish that they could have, thrown Tsunami out and made Sisters of Mercy kind of a 2-part episode, because I really think in many respects it would have been more understandable for why, Addie would have stayed behind with the Sisters of Mercy. I kind of felt a lot of things were rushed with it, but nonetheless, just in that hour of time, just how much the storyline changed and how much you're able to get these characters to change, in themselves. I love the scenes with Murphy and that woman. I think that definitely foreshadows something in the near future. And seeing Mac and Addie go through the separation definitely added a lot to the storyline. And no doubt about it, you were sitting on the edge of your seat that entire time. Great acting by Addie's actress. I really think that was definitely great, and I really enjoyed identifying who these women were, and I think that it definitely showed them to be the strongest group and the scariest. I mean, honestly, in some ways, I think that they make the best villains, if you want to call them villains, of the season. That definitely left an impact, and I have no doubt we're going to see them again, and I really hope that we do. I think it's absolutely necessary to come back into contact with them. And finally, number 1, no surprise here, is Doctor of the Dead. I really didn't know what to expect out of the season finale, because there's 2 things you can do with a season finale. You can either do great on it, or you can really screw it up. And that's the thing. I mean, one or the other was going to happen. It was either going to leave off at a thing where you were like, yeah, okay, let's wait for season 2, or you were going to be like, oh my god, I can't wait for season 2. It did the latter. It really had a great action-packed episode, kept you on the edge of your seat. Just so many developments that took place over this episode, with Murphy, with Cassandra changing, with Doc getting shot, finding out that the guy was a terrorist that basically was the one that created the virus, and whether Citizen Z is alive or not after the end, we just don't know. And I think that the ending just really summed everything up. When Citizen Z walked out, the nukes are coming out of the sky, he goes, God, I hate the apocalypse. Totally sums up, what everybody in that, series is feeling, and I really think they did a great job with it. Definitely ended with a bang, and I cannot wait for season 2. That goes to show you just how much better Z Nation has gotten, and I cannot wait for season 2. It's going to be exciting. But that's my list. That's what I have. If you guys want to make your own list, or tell me why you think parts of mine are right, or you would disagree and put other episodes in other places, don't be afraid to write that down. Don't be afraid to disagree. I definitely think that there's some wiggle room with some of those episodes. And don't be afraid to give me your thoughts. I like being able to see what other people say, because it definitely opens up my mind a little bit about what other people look for in an episode. And that's the thing when I do like Walking Dead and Z Nation, is when you basically start looking at the episodes, you look more at what you want versus what maybe somebody else wants. Somebody else might want something different. And I think it's nice to be able to get those different perspectives. So don't be afraid to make your own list. Write down some comments. Feel free to subscribe. I have more videos coming. And if you guys have any suggestions, again, don't be afraid to suggest them to me. Thanks a lot, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.